Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and before we start here, I just want to give a quick shout out to Thomas Lopez for suggesting I take a look at this show on my top 5 worst Flash cartoons. Honestly, I've been meaning to get to this one for a while now, but kept forgetting, so thank you for reminding me. So, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs the series. Look, it's not the worst cartoon in the world, but it's one that feels very shallow. It feels like the creators just thought, oh, well, it's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, so obviously people are gonna watch it, and didn't really put that much time and effort into making it, thus making it feel very bland. So here's my review of the episode Brent Babysitter. We start out with a commercial for Weather the board game. Sam says she wants it because she likes weather. Then the commercial mentions that it involves inventions, so now Flint also wants it. There's this rule in animation, it's called show don't tell. You should actually show us that Flint likes inventions and Sam likes weather instead of just telling us they do. I mean, sure, people who watch the movies or any other episodes of this show would probably get that. But imagine if this was your first time watching anything related to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This just feels lazy and forced. So Flint and Sam asks, God, I can never say that word, asks Flint's dad if he could get them the board game, and he says no. Alright, well, I guess I might as well bring this up. For some reason, Sam and Flint are kids in this series. I have no idea why. It doesn't really make much of a difference outside of them going to school. And it really doesn't make sense because if they're supposed to be kids, how come Flint and Sam know each other? They first knew about each other existing in the first movie. So this really doesn't make sense. But it's just a weird decision and I have no idea why they did it. Sam and Flint overhear a girl who may or may not be wasted talking to someone on the phone saying that she needs a babysitter because she's going to the theater, and Sam and Flint have an idea, and that idea is to go to the theater. Alright, normally I'm a pretty big fan of these fake out jokes, but here it just didn't work, mainly because the joke is paced so slowly. I mean, we get to hear the babysitter talk about how she needs a babysitter. Wait a minute, the babysitter talk about how she needs a babysitter. Wow, I am so freaking good at this. Then Sam and Flint talk for quite a while about how they have an idea. Then we see a pan out of the theater, and then we cut to Sam and Flint there. Instead, we should have just immediately gotten Sam and Flint say, oh hey, I have an idea. Then cut right to them being at the movie theater. So they then put up flyers for their babysitting service. So then this policeman guy asks them to babysit for his son Dale. But first, he asks them a few questions that they wouldn't even know the answer to in a very cringeworthy scene that goes on for way too long. We then get a montage of Flint and Sam asking a bunch of people if they would like a babysitter, only for us to realize they kept asking the same police guy over and over again. Honestly, this joke kind of hurts the episode. I mean, the episode is trying to convince us to feel sad for Flint and Sam because they can't get anyone to babysit for them, but we never actually see them ask anyone else if they need a babysitter. We only get this one joke of them asking the same guy over and over again. Up to this point in the story, I have no reason to root for the two main characters. One painfully cringeworthy joke later, and Brent asks Flint and Sam to babysit for him. They say no at first, but then Brent says that he'll give them the exact amount of money they need to get the board game. Then they give Brent a bath. Then, after his bath, Brent starts breaking things for literally no reason. Yeah, seeing Brent do all these things is very uncomfortable, and that's mainly because, well, he's the same age as Flint and Sam, so unlike a baby, this actually makes Brent feel like, well, a jerk. And it's just so awkward and, well, cringeworthy to watch. Brent burps very loudly, and Sam wants to quit, but Flint convinces her not to. What was even the point of that scene? Brent sticks his foot in Flint's mouth for some reason, and now Flint wants to quit, but Sam convinces him not to. Again, what was even the point of that? Brent wants Flam and Sint to fight for some reason, and after that, he gives them their money. Turns out though, the money was fake, and everything that Sam and Flint did was pointless. Look, I know a lot of cartoons have these kind of endings. For example, Regular Show has had a bunch of these, but what makes it work in Regular Show is that the story was very interesting and fun to watch up to that point, so you could literally care less about the ending. But in this episode, well, it's just a generic babysitting episode. And unlike other cartoon episodes that have to do with babysitting, there's nothing about this episode that makes it stand out or makes it unique. For example, the SpongeBob episode Rockabye Bivalve had the twist that SpongeBob and Patrick were acting like parents to the baby clam, and the episode was more of a parody of parental cliches and stuff. Similarly, the Wander Over Yonder episode The Toddler had the twist that, well, one, it took place in a very big mall, so it had a unique setting, and two, Wander and Sylvia were actually trying to find the parents of this kid. Frick, even the Johnny Test episode I reviewed at least had the twist that the babies were Johnny's older sisters that turned themselves into babies. This episode really doesn't have any of that, which makes it feel very forgettable, as well as that Brent was obnoxious, and the jokes had a very slow pace to them. I think this episode is a pretty good allegory for the show as a whole. It's not unwatchable, but it's not one you'll remember. Kirby, out.